In the words of Charlie Pellet, here we go. And we're going to go out with a bang at the Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off at Schoberg Flynn Arena on the campus of St. Thomas Academy. This matchup, ironically, features two teams who have already tipped off their seasons, but they are two of the perennials in Iowa and Wisconsin, the Dowling Catholic Maroons and the Crosse Aquinas Blue Golds. Greetings, everyone. I'm Mike Peden, all by myself, talking to myself for this matchup. But Crosse Aquinas, one of the perennials in Division IV Wisconsin girls basketball, they've been to the state championship game in 5 consecutive years, lost the state championship last year, but they won several in a row, thanks to the Donarskis. And you may remember Jacy Donarski if you followed our coverage in the past. There's a younger one in Macy Donarski. Macy is committed to St. Louis University. Jacy, of course, playing at Iowa State. And Macy, Jacy Weisbrod are two of the dynamic playmakers for Crosse Aquinas. It's one of the smaller schools in Wisconsin, but one of the most consistent performers as well. They weren't able to play Minnesota teams last season owing to the pandemic, even though they had close to a normal season in terms of games played. So getting the opportunity to at least have the prospect of playing some out-of-state teams will certainly be a welcome sight. They're playing Dowling Catholic today, and then they will play 3 Minnesota teams throughout the season. And that includes a date with Minnehaha Academy in January, followed by Winona Cotter in February. For Dowling Catholic, Emma Gipple is their most experienced returner. This is a young group, but I spoke with Kristen Meyer. She said they're young, but they play with a lot of experienced boys, and they don't look like they're raw in terms of their playmaking, their court vision, and their decision-making. Dowling Catholic, of course, the alma mater of Caitlin Clark, who is doing big things for Iowa women's basketball. This Dowling Catholic team has 5 freshmen on varsity. At least 3 will get solid minutes. So this is a young group with a lot of growth, a lot of cohesiveness ahead of them. It's hard to say what will transpire in this matchup, but this will be one of the barometers for a young Dowling Catholic team as they work to build a new nucleus that can feature perhaps the next Caitlin Clark or maybe someone who can outdo her. The players aren't necessarily worried about that, but Kristen Meyer did note that growing up with Caitlin Clark and her success, it might just plant the seed that if Caitlin can pull this off in her home state of Iowa, perhaps someone else for Dowling Catholic can as well. We'll give you the matchup in a moment. This is high school girls basketball. Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves. Holloman, good if it goes. Yes! Game winners. James, she's in trouble. Finds James, toss shot, it goes in! And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
Out-of-state schools. First, the Maroons from Dowling Catholic High School, Iowa. Taking on the Blue Golds from Aquinas of Wisconsin. Let's be starting lineups for both teams. For Dowling, number 13, Emma Gipple. And for Aquinas, number 2, Macy Donarski. For Dowling, number 21, Julia Moore. And for Aquinas, number 4, Danica Sigmund. For the Maroons, number 23, Emma Gipple. For the Blue Golds, number 20, For Dowling, number 25, Lauren Frericks. And And for Dowling, number 45, Jacy Weisbrod. Dowling is coached by Kristen Meyer, assisted by Joel Taylor and Audrey Weber. Aquinas is coached by Jacy Weisbrod, assisted by Emma Gipple, Pedro Roster, and Jessica Peterson. And your officials for the season's game.
The lineups have been introduced. As we said, these two teams, ironically, have already started their seasons. Dowling Catholic 1-0, Crosse Aquinas 2-0. I spoke with Dave Donarski briefly. He said maybe not the smoothest start we've had, but a win is a win is a win, as the saying goes. Aquinas, their victories came against Lakeland and Arcadia. They play Hill Murray tomorrow. And as we mentioned before, Minnehaha Academy and Winona Cotter are the three Minnesota teams they will face this season in Division 4. Jacy Weisbrod and Macy Donarski averaging over 20 points per game in the first two games of the season. Weisbrod a double-double, 27.5, 11.5. Dowling wearing the white, Crosse Aquinas wearing the navy blue. And we play with Minnesota rules, so 18-minute halves. Nothing new for Wisconsin. They've used similar timing procedures. But for Dowling Catholic, Iowa still plays quarters. We'll get names and numbers as we move along. Dowling Catholic looking to get on the board. Layla Tritton chases the offensive rebound, saves possession for the Maroons. They'll try another corner three. That doesn't hit the mark. And Macy Donarski picks up the rebound. The Donarski clan leaving an indelible impression in Crosse Aquinas Blue Gold's history. The coach-to-player ratio for Crosse Aquinas close to 1-to-1. Not a sight you see often. But Dave had some fun with it. Said if something happens to me or if parents start calling for my head, I can get Pedro Rostad to take over. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Still no score, 16:45 left in the first half. Two teams we couldn't see last year in the pandemic-shortened season. Donarski. Contested drive. Dowling Catholic on the run. They've been favoring the corner three early. Still looking to get the outside shot, but Emma Gipple gets their first inside shot, and the Maroons score first. Macy Donarski creates some space for herself, can't hit the step-back J, and the rebound goes to Julia Moore. Scramble for the ball, won by Aquinas. Macy Donarski all by herself, and that's a play we've seen from Macy and her big sister Lexi. Give them a run out, and they'll take it all the way. So we are tied early. Three rims in and out. That's the fourth time Crosse Aquinas, or I should say Dowling Catholic, has tried to set up that corner three. That shot hasn't fallen yet, but if it does, that could open things up. Nice feed, nice set for Dowling Catholic. They find a cutting Ava Zedeker for 2. Donarski with a stutter step move, comes up short, gets her own rebound, kicks out. 3 no good from Maddie Murphy. Julia Moore, up and in. Donarski surveying the field, biding her time. Looking to create some space. Tried to feed Danica Silcox on the bounce pass. Didn't quite work out. She'll try again. Donarski getting after it, scrapping for offensive rebounds. She's picked up a couple already. She had just 3.5. 7 rebounds in the first 2 games. She could pad that number considerably before the first half is over. Crosse Aquinas stuck in a jam, so Dave Donarski will call a timeout. As we noted in the open, Aquinas, they've reached the championship round in 5 straight years in Division IV. They've won 6 straight conference titles in the Mississippi Valley. They've only lost once in conference play in that span. Weisbrod will play at Northern Colorado. Donarski will play at St. Louis University. Lexi, of course, Big 12 Freshman of the Year. These 2 teams have played each other in the St. Thomas event, the Twin Cities tip-off, I should say. Crosse Aquinas has won both times in close fashion. That was with Caitlin Clark. This is a different-looking Dowling Catholic team, but it is amusing to see the 2 out-of-state teams facing each other for an invitational. But they appreciate the invite. And coming out of the timeout, Lauren Frericks fouled Jacy Weisbrod. Free throws coming for Jacy Weisbrod on the season. 27.5 points. She was 3 of 4 at the line, now 3 of 5. 11.5 rebounds. And 2.5 steals. Weisbrod splits at the line. Aquinas trails 6-3 to Dowling Catholic. And the Maroons looking for another 3. They don't get it. And Donarski once again biding her time. Shovel pass, 3 no good from Weisbrod. The offensive rebound will be a jump ball. The arrow favors Crosse Aquinas. And one of the officials tells the scores table, can you turn that on for us? The front light is out. Hopefully they get it fixed, but it is Aquinas. So you can't see it on this side, but there is a light that shows up. It's going to be Dowling Catholic ball anyway. Gipple. Step through move, gets the bounce. And the Maroons take an 8-3 lead. Three on the way. Bullseye. Shea Barr to Maddie Murphy. That is the first three-pointer of the game. And it's 8-6 in a battle of Iowa and Wisconsin teams. The third time these two have played since the Twin Cities tip-off began. Macy Donarski races in for the steal and draws the foul. And we're going to get some substitutions. Aquinas with the smaller roster. They have a few scratches this weekend. 3 of their players unable to participate. Crosse Aquinas generally doesn't play too deep as it is. At least in the games that we've covered. Macy Donarski stuck in traffic, and Layla Tritton picks it up. Dowling Catholic trying to get something going. But the Blue Golds and Shea Barr had other ideas. Weisbrod, Barr, and Donarski, the 3 returning starters from last year's silver medalists. Not the medal they were hoping for. They also noted, Aquinas did, that the state tournament wasn't favorable for them. They had a semifinal and championship round played on the same day. That's something they don't allow in Minnesota. And that did not favor a smaller team like Aquinas, who needed that day of rest. But hopefully that won't be an issue this season. They did force the turnover after Dowling Catholic got the offensive rebound, and they'll cash in on a Jacy Weisbrod 3. Was looking to make a move and decided to pull up, and she pulled up 3 points in the column for Crosse Aquinas. They lead 9-8. Dowling Catholic runs a triangle set. Offensive rebound by Lauren Frericks. Couldn't get the putback to go in. Macy Donarski brings the ball up. Maintains her dribble. Goes to Weisbrod. And a cut to the middle by Shea Barr. Barr makes it an 11-8 game. Dowling Catholic launches the 3 and connects. Layla Tritton with the first triple. Donarski to Maddie Murphy. Almost lost it. Dowling Catholic able to win the scrum. Zedeker for 3. Too strong, and a dead ball rebound to the Blue Golds. Now we'll get our first look at substitutions. The Blue Golds sending in Nora Dickinson and Mary Niegelson. Catherine Savaldelli is the other player suiting up for the Blue Golds. I said Blue Golds, not Google. My phone almost activated. Meanwhile, we have a tie-up following a missed shot. Dowling Catholic with the arrow that time. The player subbing in for Dowling Catholic, Ellie Olson, she is 41. And she's the one sub. Zedeker has it. The long skip to Moore for three, no good. Donarski with the rebound. Aquinas 2-0, Dowling Catholic 1-0. Two teams, if you watch our coverage or if you follow high school basketball in Iowa and in Wisconsin, those are going to be two teams you'll hear a lot about, and we're glad we can offer a glimpse of that for all you Wisconsin and Iowa fans out there. Donarski got tied up by Julia Moore. I should say tangled up because that was a foul call. We're tied at 11 with 7:48 remaining in the first half. Julia Frederick is going in for the Maroons. Macy Donarski with a couple of step-back moves and drains the J. Donarski showing her fancy footwork. Dowling Catholic overshoots the pass and throws it into the hands of Crosse Aquinas. Weisbrod wants another three, bullseye. Weisbrod eclipsed 1,000 points in Monday's win. Joining the likes of Courtney Becker and Lexi Donarski, they were a dynamic duo for the Blue Golds in Division 4. Lexi Donarski lost just 3 times in her high school career. 2 of them were to Hopkins when Aquinas decided to schedule them. We've got a timeout called by Dowling Catholic with 6:49 remaining in the first half as the Blue Golds are on a run here. They push their lead up to 5, 16-11. Aquinas gets Hill Murray tomorrow. They are one of the dark horses in Class 3A. Hill Murray, no strangers to state tournament success. They had a dynamic duo of their own in Tessa Sitchie and Bethany Doolittle way back when. So it's a group capable of deep state tournament runs. Crosse Aquinas, no stranger to it in Division 4. And there's every reason to believe they could enter that conversation again. .6:37 to go in the first half. Dowling Catholic on the fast break, created by the steal. Layla Tritton with an opportunistic bucket. Just a bang-bang play, and Dowling Catholic zoom downfield. Down court, that is, downfield. I've got football and soccer on the brain. The state football finals are this weekend. 3-ball, corner pocket. Dickinson to Niegelson. That was a quick shovel pass by Dickinson. Dowling Catholic on the fast break. They'll have a chance for a three-point play. Emma Gipple, the most experienced player on the Dowling Catholic roster. She has started since her freshman season. Kristen Meyer says Emma is the best rebounder, does a nice job scoring inside and defending post players. Can't complete the three-point play, but that is something Aquinas will have to account for. Dowling Catholic with a couple of transition scores, and sometimes the best opportunity for a scoring play is right after your opponent does. Danica Silcox had her foot on the line, so she will get credit for a long two. The score has it listed as a 3, so it's 22-25. It should be 21-15. And the Blue Golds will look to add to it. And if you're wondering how that can happen, as we have another kick out for 3, that doesn't fall. I saw the official signal too, but sometimes the people at the scores table can't always see that. That isn't to suggest that they're inadequate at their job. Julia Moore certainly not inadequate. Better than adequate, at least on that play. She'll have a chance at 3. So it should be 21-17. They have it 22-17, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. We're calling it 21-17 because that last play by Silcox was ruled a 2-pointer by the officials, and sometimes they can't correct it until they get a chance to go over the numbers at halftime. So we'll say 21-18 and keep an eye on the scoreboard in the second half. Meanwhile, Dowling Catholic has cut into the margin. That much we can tell you. Enough for Dave Donarski to send his 2 starters back out there. And Danica Silcox with a couple of buckets. That time she cleans up the miss of Shea Barr. And that will give Aquinas a 23-18 lead over Dowling Catholic. Julia Moore. Over to number 11, that's Maren Heller for the Maroons. Julia Moore tried to squeeze through the hole across Aquinas, contained it in time. And now Donarski using her first step, can't get the bounce. It was a high scoop off the window, just couldn't put it in. A foul is called on Crosse Aquinas.
Macy Donarski with personal foul, first team's third.
That's the first on Donarski, and again with Aquinas having such a small contingent for this game, that's going to put an onus on foul trouble. Emma Gipple with the fadeaway, and Emma is not fooling around. So I've got it at 23-20, and if that is accurate, again, there was a 2-pointer that I believe was ruled a 3 on the scoreboard, so that should be corrected. But the Maroons are back within a possession after it looked like things were about to get out of hand. Here's Heller. Sees a lane. Weisbrod says, I don't think so. It will stay Dowling Catholic ball. You might have heard Kristen Meyer yell 45. You basketball aficionados know what that means. Heller for 3. Off the rim. And a dead ball rebound to Aquinas. That's Weisbrod who stepped into her own shot. Dowling Catholic couldn't control the rebound. Crosse Aquinas gets bailed out on the foul. Danica Silcox was in a vulnerable position, but Dowling Catholic made contact. The teams may be unfamiliar to Minnesota followers, but several players from Wisconsin and Iowa, at least in normal years, as Macy Donarski can't hit the step-back three. But Crosse Aquinas able to get the save. Another save. Weisbrod just walked right into that one. She was inbounds, so that's legal. But that's a rebound of fortuitous circumstances, and it leads to a Danica Silcox triple, banking it off the glass. That makes it 26-20, so the score has been corrected. Meanwhile, Lauren Frericks will dazzle the crowd with the reverse. Now, I was going to say, a lot of Wisconsin and Iowa players will make the trek to Minnesota either through AAU commitments or tournaments. Macy Donarski, for example, playing with Wisconsin Flight Elite. She's going to get hit with the elbow. She just bowled over number 31, Macy Downing, and put a little too much contact on it. Heller can't hit the runner. She can create her own shot off the dribble, but Dowling Catholic applying pressure on Shea Barr, and that pays off with Emma Gipple getting the steal and the bucket. Dowling Catholic with this group of young guns hanging with Crosse Aquinas. And I don't know enough about these teams to make any predictions beforehand, so this is one of those games where you call it just for fun, because you really don't know what's going to happen until it happens. Weisbrod to Barr. Barr in the handoff got rejected emphatically, and a jump ball. The possession arrow favors Crosse Aquinas. Yes, I should say that was Maddie Murphy, number 20. Dave Donarski barking out a command to Crosse Aquinas. That three off the mark from Weisbrod. Here's a chance for the Maroons to tie or take the lead. Heller to Moore. Through the lane and in. Moore up to 7, Gipple up to 10, and we are tied. So after the Blue Golds built a slight edge, Dowling Catholic, Kristen Meyer was telling us beforehand, it's a group of young guns, but they don't play scared. They have a lot more poise and experience than their age would suggest, and it's showing, at least in the first half. Aquinas getting a challenge, but that has been the norm in this series since it started a couple years ago. Donarski couldn't connect on the drive, and that will bring the first half to an end. So an entertaining game in a battle of Iowa and Wisconsin. Dowling Catholic got the early jump. Crosse Aquinas threw the counter, and Dowling Catholic ends with one of their own to even the score at 26 as we enter the halftime intermission. Crosse Aquinas looking to stay undefeated. Then again, so is Dowling Catholic, in a game where pride is on the line. No state tournament worries necessarily, but a lot of entertainment awaits us in the second half. Stick around.
Twin Cities Sports Broadcasting, and a whole lot more. That's what you get from TSB Television. We provide long-lasting digital coverage of your favorite athletes from the preps to the pros. Dazzling moves.
Holloman, good if it goes. Yes!
Game winners.
From James. She's in trouble. Finds James. Toss shot! It goes in!
And everything in between. Before we let you go, do you want to say hi to anybody?
Oh, I don't know. Let's put me on the spot there.
If you want to connect with our audience, visit us at patreon.com/TSB Television or sponsor our coverage through PayPal and Cash App. Thank you for watching.
And we're back at the Schoberg Flynn Arena on the campus of St. Thomas Academy. Mike Pete and all by myself, talking to myself for this evening slate of games. Our scheduled color commentator hit with a food illness, so can't join us, unfortunately. But we were joined by a couple of strong teams and a scrappy one in Dowling Catholic. This group of young guns tying the game at 26 to close the first half. Leading scorers, Emma Gipple with 10, Julia Moore with 7 for the Maroons. Danica Silcox and Jacy Weisbrod have 7 each for the Blue Golds. And as far as second half trends, we'll have to see what transpires. Dowling Catholic swings it around, misses the 3. They struggled from three-point range early in the game. But Emma Gipple was the difference maker. And we've seen Dowling Catholic turn a couple of defensive stops into quick offensive buckets. Jacy Weisbrod with Frericks in her face hits her 3rd triple. Weisbrod going to Northern Colorado and showing off her range. Dowling Catholic looking to score on the slash. Julia Moore can't do it, and free throws coming for the Maroons.
Shane Moore with personal foul, her first, team's first in the second half.
And free throws coming for Emma Gipple, who we just mentioned. Gipple missing both free throws, but a dead ball rebound awarded to Dowling Catholic. Not a lot of free throws in the first half. Dowling Catholic throws it away. Donarski tracks it down. Didn't have a lane to attack, so waiting for help to arrive. Takes it herself anyway and draws the foul. On the season, Donarski, 23.5 points per game. Chipped in a few rebounds early. 7.5 assists, Macy Donarski, the facilitator, and Weisbrod, the bruiser, if you will. Donarski splits at the line. 30-26. Baseline drive for Layla Tritton is no good, but there for the cleanup. Who else would it be? Emma Gipple. Providing that support, and Gipple keeping Dowling Catholic in this game. Donarski to Shea Barr. Blocked by Gipple, and she comes up with it. Hesitation move, but a travel. Julia Moore had the right idea. You see this early in the season sometimes. Players will grab the ball and take off before dribbling. We didn't see a lot of that in the first couple of games, but I think part of it owes to the lengthy involvement of several of these athletes who play high school and then club ball in the summer. Donarski with the skip. Taking a tumble was Julia Moore. Aquinas still has it, 30-28. Nice move inside. Emma Gipple once again with the cleanup. Frericks couldn't get the initial high-low play in, and that will be enough for La Crosse Aquinas to call a timeout with 15-14 remaining in the second half. Dowling Catholic and Emma Gipple hanging with La Crosse Aquinas, one of the perennials in Division 4. As we said before, these two teams have played each other twice in 2018 and 2020, or 2019, I should say. Both were close. We didn't have an invitational last year. Kristen Meyer was telling me how Emma Gipple does a terrific job scoring inside and defending post players. She didn't bother to tell me that Gipple is an accomplished cleanup artist as well. IDs, of course. But Emma Gipple providing some crucial second chance support, and knowing you can have someone who will trail and have your back like that, that makes the offense run a little more smoothly with a little less hesitancy. Missing the three was Maddie Murphy. Blue Golds having trouble hitting their shots. Dowling Catholic knocking theirs down. Layla Tritton with the corner three, and it's 33-30. Donarski, step back three. That's not quite there. Danica Silcox was in position for the O-board. And Donarski again shakes off defenders, comes up strong. Nice move to lose defenders. Had a bit of trouble knocking down shots that time. Weisbrod will be hit with a foul, trying to deny Lauren Frericks, and Lauren will go to the line for two.
Jacy Weisbrod, foul on the first team, second.
Frericks at the line. Missed most of last season with a foot injury, but was cleared to play in the last month of the 2020-2021 season and got some experience that Kristen Meyer says is benefiting her this year. Frericks splits at the line. That is the first make at the charity stripe for Dowling Catholic. Crosse Aquinas trying to work their way inside, and they have struggled to put the ball in as of late. Heller for three. That would have been a huge bucket had it gone in for Dowling Catholic. Scrum for the rebound is won by the Blue Golds, and Macy Donarski will take charge of the offense. Tried to get the bounce pass to Silcox, but a couple of defenders were in the vicinity. Dowling Catholic forcing the turnover. Heller looking to go baseline. They kick back out and swing out for Frericks. Right idea, but she couldn't get the three to fall. Picked up by Gipple. What a second half she has had thus far. Heller missing the three, but Zedeker tracks it down. Another opportunity for the Maroons. And remember, no shot clock in Minnesota high school ball. I believe they are adding one in Wisconsin if they haven't done so already. And that's been a talking point here for a long time. Now as Dowling Catholic, the longer you run a set, and several states still without shot clocks, the more chances you have of making a mistake. That doesn't mean this team is mistake prone, but the longer you run a set, the more passes you make, the more opportunities for something to go wrong. But Dowling Catholic biding their time until they see an opening. And when you don't have a shot clock, you have that luxury. The Maroons have a 4-point lead
And they can eat up more time off the clock as Gipple won the initial scrum for the rebound, got tied up, and then drew the foul. And that will be enough for Aquinas to call a timeout. 12:01 remains in the second half.
Aquinas calls timeout. The Bulls timeout. Ellie Olsen checks into the Maroons lineup.
Looking ahead at the schedule, barring something weird, La Crosse Aquinas, as we said, 3 Minnesota teams, Hill Murray, Minnehaha Academy, and Winona Cotter. They'll play Regis, another school making their first visit to the Twin Cities tip-off in mid-December. It's a series that may not draw a lot of attention here with the teams not being from Minnesota, and Caitlin Clark, now a college basketball athlete. But the example she set can set the tone for players that are coming up. You heard Dave Donarski yell, "Where is 13?" referencing Ava Zedeker. I think where is 23 is going to be another thing that Donarski and his bunch shout out, because Gipple has been all over the place when it comes to offensive rebounds. And all over the place is leading to mayhem for La Crosse Aquinas. It's one thing to prepare for a team when they had Caitlin Clark. It's another when you have some playmakers, but not necessarily an A-lister. But there are a few multi-sport athletes on this Dowling Catholic team. There may not be a future Caitlin Clark in this bunch, but she stays involved, keeps tabs on how her team's doing. Weisbrod is keeping tabs on her block tally. She picks up another one, and that's a big stop for the Blue Golds. Let's see if they can cash in. Barr with the fake. She'll drive and float it in. Set up by the block from Weisbrod. That makes it a 2-point game, and a sloppy pass by Layla Trick, some miscommunication. But Dowling Catholic gets right to Jacy Weisbrod, disrupts her dribble, forces the turnover, and Emma Gipple is there on the other end for a bucket down low. She's up to 16 points, and the Maroons lead by 4, 36-32 over La Crosse Aquinas. Weisbrod, catch and shoot three, pure. The touch three. That makes the catch and shoot such a lethal play. And that makes it a 1-point game. Heller with the fake. Traveling call. Here's Donarski. Out to Barr. Baseline jumper is good. Barr with the assist. And that is Catherine Savadelli. That will give La Crosse Aquinas the lead. Dave Donarski might put this one under the ugly category. But the Blue Golds aren't going away quietly. Again, these two teams look a little different than when they first met, when you had all those D1s. But La Crosse Aquinas discovering their rhythm. Barr drains the 3. And the Blue Golds lead by 4. Dowling Catholic looking for a score down low, no good. Look who has the offensive rebound, it's Gipple. Heller, pump fakes, goes up, and Heller having some trouble hitting her shot. She's missed her last 3. But another offensive rebound by the Maroons. Heller will try again from the corner. Not that time. Rebound, Macy Donarski. Chance for the Blue Golds to take command of this game. Weisbrod. That would have been big. But Dowling Catholic still in this. Only a 4-point margin. Nice move to Heller. Gipple was able to deliver the pass nonchalantly. Crosse Aquinas couldn't see it coming. I certainly couldn't. And Maren Heller scores to make it a 2-point game. And a timeout is called. 40-38 is the score. And if you're following along on YouTube, we'll have a pair of Minnesota teams take the floor. To wrap up our contingent of games, we'll have another pair of small schools. Mare Lutheran, one of the teams to watch in Class A, and Winona Cotter. Winona Cotter having a decent run last year. And Mare Lutheran reaching the Class A state tournament, lost in the quarterfinals to their section opponent now, Sleepy Eye St. Mary's. As you know, in Minnesota, the two teams, or every 2 years, they regroup the sections. But for those of you in Iowa and Wisconsin who are following along with our coverage, we're happy to have you, even if I am all by myself talking to myself. Lauren Frericks is trying to time the pass, just a half step late as it goes out of bounds. Still, it's a deflection. Donarski, she's been kept in check, only 5 points in this one. After putting up some solid numbers in the first 2 games of the year. Again, averaging 23.5. Weisbrod, 27.5. Weisbrod with 13 points, 4 triples. But that's it. Only 4 3-pointers, nothing inside. And 13 points, not a bad night, but when you're used to getting bigger numbers, and part of that may have been the runaway win that Crosse Aquinas had, beating Arcadia by 45. That might have inflated the numbers a bit, as we have an offensive foul called on Macy Donarski. But Dowling Catholic doing an effective job at limiting the production out of the big name players from Aquinas. They can take the lead on this 3. Another offensive rebound, but this time it wasn't Gipple. And Ellie Olsen had another one, but couldn't keep her balance. Gets called for traveling. That is a turnover you can live with, in the sense that Olsen was in the midst of a scrum, so it wasn't a miscue of her doing. Donarski with a nice move to shake off Julia Moore and scoop it in. That is a big bucket for the St. Louis recruit. Dowling Catholic, we saw them execute a similar move in the first half. They couldn't get the fast break play there, but they get another offensive rebound, and that leads to an elbow J off the window by Julia Moore. Ellie Olsen won the battle for that rebound there. Gipple not on the floor right now, but Dowling Catholic still scrapping for offensive rebounds. It looks like Gipple will go back in at the next whistle. Donarski, no good. Might have been touched. Ellie Olsen made a play for it. So it will be... Okay, I thought Dowling stepped on the line. They didn't. Or did they? Or did they get it off an Aquinas player? Or did the ball go out of bounds? I can't tell from this vantage point. I can't tell you one of the officials is tying his shoe. 42-40. Dowling Catholic looking to tie or take the lead. They will take the lead as Ava Zedeker used herself as a decoy to set up Julia Moore for 3. 43-42. Looks like we are headed for another photo finish between these two, which has been par for the course when these two teams met in 2018 and 2019. Again, they did not meet last year owing to the pandemic. Savoldelli was in trouble or was looking for a target. This is Shea Barr. And now Aquinas biding their time. Macy Donarski saw a lane, got around a couple defenders, and navigated the interior. So Macy Donarski with a couple of big plays in the closing stages, so wide open. Dowling Catholic had a couple of chances to go at it, but Aquinas was able to rotate back in time. Baseline drive, Donarski may have gotten a piece of it. Look who's there. Gipple, but she can't put the second chance bucket in. There were a couple of moments where Dowling Catholic might have passed up an opening to attack, and that split second allowed the Aquinas defense time to respond. Macy Donarski went into a wall and was soundly rejected. 44-43. Weisbrod blocks it back, and Julia Moore says, I'm not going to play that. I'll just take the inbound. Macy Donarski will take a breather. Danica Silcox will go in. Again, just 8 players for the Blue Golds. And an interesting substitution as far as Donarski's capabilities, but Dan sensing that he may need Macy if this game remains tight, so give her a breather while you can. Meanwhile, going underneath, Lauren Frericks slipped past Jacy Weisbrod and knocked down the reverse. And Dowling Catholic takes the lead again. We're seeing several lead changes in the second half after both teams had a punch and counterpunch. Silcox. And Macy Donarski is going to check back in. So that break did not last long. Weisbrod couldn't get around Frericks. Maddie Murphy lost her dribble, jump ball, and the arrow favors Aquinas. That will give an opportunity for Donarski and Heller to check back in. Donarski for Aquinas, Heller for Dowling Catholic. 3:29 to go. And even though my knowledge of Wisconsin and Iowa teams are limited, it's always fun to get a glimpse of some of the talent outside the state. Of course, I got to see a lot of that in AAU competition. Wisconsin and Iowa producing a lot of top teams, Iowa especially. Here's Donarski. Does she have something left in the tank? We've covered several Wisconsin teams in our broadcast coverage when they pay a visit. Madison East has made the trek west across the border twice. Once with Aaron Howard, who's now playing Division I. Somerset at the MLK Fury Classic a few years ago. Had a chance to see them play.
Jacy Weisbrod will shoot one more.
Splitting at the line is Jacy Weisbrod, and that ties the score at 45 all. Dowling Catholic wasting little time trying to break it. Pass deflected. Working her way through traffic, but unable to come up with a bucket was Tritton. Barr almost used up her dribble and nearly dragged her pivot. Weisbrod does use up her dribble. She'll reset to Donarski. Donarski against Teller, muscled her way inside. And Donarski up to 11. This won't be an explosive performance in terms of the stat line, but Donarski making some big plays late. Dowling Catholic, they're not done though. Layla Tritton drains the three. Timeout. Dowling Catholic calling timeout, 48-47. That three gives Tritton 11. 3 double-digit scores for the Maroons. Gipple with 16, Moore with 12, Tritton with 11. For La Crosse Aquinas, Weisbrod with 14, Donarski with 11. Tritton, a solid all-around player in the words of Kristen Meyer, and gives them depth at the guard spot. One of the many freshmen who she anticipates will have a solid season. And La Crosse Aquinas, if you're a Minnesota fan, you'll get to see them a few more times in Wisconsin when they play Minnehaha Academy in Winona Cotter. But if you follow Wisconsin State Tournament basketball, they will be a name to look out for in Division IV. They have been for a long time. Two minutes to go. And another photo finish between teams from the border. Wisconsin and Iowa, that is. That border. Macy Donarski will shoot 2. Donarski hasn't been to the line a whole lot. In fact, I think she went there just once. Aquinas 3 of 6 from the line. Donarski needs 1 to tie, 2 to take the lead.
Macy Donarski will shoot one more.
Donarski has struggled mightily to reach her 11 points. She hasn't struggled on the floor, but she blanks at the line, and that is not going to help the cause. Dowling Catholic, what do? You're not in a safety net range. Aquinas looking for the steal. They get it. And we're going to have a discussion because I heard one say jump, no, timeout. Aquinas did say timeout. I thought there might have been a jump. So Aquinas, I believe, will have the ball with 1:28 left to go. And what's at stake? Just some pride on the line. This won't necessarily be a game that is used to determine section or state tournament seeding, but having the win on the resume for Dowling Catholic, if they can squeak out a win against a Division IV perennial in Wisconsin, that would be a good accomplishment to add to the resume. And for La Crosse Aquinas, they're used to making weekend visits.
Donarski out to Silcox. Aquinas trails by 1. Donarski had a chance to take the lead, but she missed her 2 free throws at the line. Dowling Catholic had a couple fouls to give. They use one here as Julia Moore collides with Macy Donarski. Both teams with 1 foul left to give. That may come into play here. Free throw shooting has not been great for either side. Dowling Catholic 1 of 5, Aquinas 3 of 8. Here's Barr. And she dragged her pivot. That's a traveling call. That gives the ball to Dowling Catholic with 54.2 seconds. Aquinas brings the pressure. Dowling Catholic escapes. Timeout. Maroons, 37.3. 37.3. And once again, both teams with a foul to give. So this creates an interesting premise for Crosse Aquinas. Aquinas, do you foul? And if you decide to foul, when? Because they've been able to cause some disruptions on defense without fouling, and you would think they might try that again. A big win on the line for one of these two schools. Dowling Catholic can't avoid the pressure that time. They throw it away. The Blue Golds will have another chance. Their defense able to provide stops without fouling here in the later stages. Can they cash in on the other end? Donarski, no good. Rebound, Gipple. A sensational performance on the boards and a foul on Aquinas. That is their last to give with 17.7. Now you have to consider the foul and chase game. With 17.7 on the clock. Dowling Catholic up by 1. Aquinas will try to pressure first, and they can't do so, so they will send Tritton to the line. The foul and chase game, not necessarily a bad strategy because neither side has made their free throws. So if Tritton can't make this first one, or even a split, even if she makes both, it would still be a one-possession game, but you could be looking at a scenario. Well, you don't have to worry about that, but the numbers favored the foul and chase game when you look at free throw shooting. Tritton with the split. Offensive rebound by Frericks. Timeout, Dowling Catholic, and that will go a long way to sealing the win. But it's not a done deal yet. Still 10 seconds. They got to get the ball in. What you don't want to do is cough it up. We'll move right to the next game with Mare Lutheran and Winona Cotter once this wraps up. Weisbrod, by the way, her varsity record entering this game, 76-3. Weisbrod, Lexi Donarski, Courtney Becker, players that aren't accustomed to losing. No different for a school like Hopkins that was used to winning and had a long streak going into 2021. They had a winning streak that went nearly 3 years. Again, no state championship in 2020 due to the pandemic. They probably would have won it all against Farmington and had another undefeated season. One of the longest winning streaks in state history. And right away, Aquinas with the foul. Emma Gipple can seal it with 2 free throws. Still 1-1, so if she misses the first one, pay attention to the rebounding. Missed the second one. Not sure if that was intentional, but that gives Aquinas a chance. They will use what I presume is their last timeout. So 5.5 on the clock. The question is, where was the timeout called? You can't advance the ball at the high school level. They did change the college rules to make it possible. And Dowling Catholic has one ace up their sleeve as well to eat up time. They still have a foul to give. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see a situation where Aquinas, as soon as they inbound it, if Dowling Catholic can't force a steal, they'll foul whoever has the ball right away, eat up a couple of seconds. Having some trouble. And a tough shot by Maddie Murphy against coverage, and that does it. So Dowling Catholic, for the first time in this series, they've faced Aquinas every year. We've had a Twin Cities tip-off, and for the first time ever, Dowling Catholic gets a win against La Crosse Aquinas. 50-47 the final. It was a gritty second half, back and forth all the way through. Emma Gipple with 17 points and a bevy of rebounds. That made the difference in this one. Layla Tritton with 12, Julia Moore with 12. For La Crosse Aquinas, Jacy Weisbrod with 14, Macy Donarski with 11. Compared to the first two games, Donarski in particular held in check, and La Crosse Aquinas wasn't able to compensate enough. But what a battle it was between these two teams, and another close call. That has been the ongoing story of this one. So congratulations to Dowling Catholic for taking a win against a Wisconsin team at this Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off. And that will do it for this game. We have more coverage of the Twin Cities tip-off coming your way from Schoberg Flynn Arena at St. Thomas Academy. So stick around if you want to watch some of our other games and follow along on our YouTube channel. And as always, if you want to support us in any way, shape, or form, visit us on Patreon, PayPal, or Cash App. Thank you for watching. More Twin Cities Thanksgiving tip-off coverage is coming your way.